Hello folks, and welcome to Linux for Seniors. Today's video is going to be on Manjaro, the Xfce desktop. And today I'm going to talk about assigning programs or applications and other functions to a single key on your keyboard that you may find pretty versatile. I'm going to give you some examples. I'm pressing one key on my keyboard to do this with, and then I need to close that. I'm going to do another one for a program or application. I'm going to use Gimp in this example. Gimp is like Photoshop. I'm going to close that. Or something simple like a calculator thing. All right. Let's say you don't have any of these dedicated keys on your keyboards. Well, I'm going to show you how you can do that without having those dedicated keys on those keyboards. And I will encourage that you subscribe. And my channel is about Linux for Seniors. I'm trying to do this in a slower fashion. This is also good for new users. You won't hear me use too much technical jargon. That's why none of my videos are going to be less than 2 minutes. And I'm already up to 50 videos so far. My previous YouTube site had 450. That project is closed. I ran that for about 4 years. More importantly, I encourage that you subscribe so you can learn some of these little tips. Whether you're a senior, young at heart, Linux is for every age. So this again is Manjaro. All of my videos also are indexed with, chapters and a timeline. You can also watch my videos on your big screens, your smart TVs, if you have the YouTube app. So again, Manjaro Xfce desktop. Let's talk about making some shortcuts. So I'm going to open up the settings manager. My username is Mr. Senior. And I'm going to talk about this key right here. Before I do that, I just wanted to point out to you that I'm using a very large font, 14, no big deal, and a very large mouse pointer. Some people call them cursors. I have several videos on my YouTube site that shows you how to install these things just using your file manager. More importantly, let's talk about keyboards. A lot of people shy away from this application shortcuts. I'm going to get you really comfortable with this and show you this in a very slow way of how to create these kind of things. So what I'm going to do is, this is the command that I'm going to delete and recreate for you. So I opened up a text file and dumped some text in here just to give you a reference. So I'm going to open this. This was just a text file that I did in a text editor called Mousepad. And I just typed in some words in here, just to give you an idea what I'm looking at. This is too small, I'm sure. So let me make it larger for you. Some of you folks that used to be my old subscribers know exactly what I'm doing here. But a lot of you folks that are not a subscriber or are new to my channel don't know what I'm doing here. All right, maybe. So what I'm doing here is holding down my control key with my left hand. While it's still depressed, my control key is still depressed, I'm scrolling up and down with my computer mouse to make this larger. Let's move on. So what you want to do is either freeze the screen and handwrite this down. I'm going to explain it to you. So you want to type in, when I get into this dialog box, you're going to type in Xfce4, no space, dash session, no space, dash logout. Again, you can just type this on a piece of paper if you like. You can push this on pause and handwrite this down right now if you like. I'm going to right click and copy this. I also suggest you subscribe so you can refer back to this later. Now I'm going to close and I'm going to hit add and do this all from scratch. I'm going to paste that command. This will be like you typing this in. Xfce4 no space dash session no space dash logout. If you can type that in, you're good to go. The next thing you need to decide is, do you have a key on your keyboard that is not currently doing anything? You can usually depress some keys on your keyboard to find out if it does a function, if it's a function key, like an F key. So I have some keys in mind, and I'm also going to give you some tips here. First of all, you don't want to assign these kind of things to your enter key, or return key, as some people used to call it. You also may want to think about reassigning something to your F11 key. Why is that? Because in your web browsers, they're normally used to make a full screen or a full page. And then if you press F11 again, it usually reduces it down to whatever your screen is, you know, the box. So stuff like that. So think about that when you're trying to assign these keys. But in general, you can assign it to just about any key on your keyboard. So with that in mind, we punched in our command. I don't use the startup notification, and I'm going to hit OK. Now we need to decide what kind of key to trigger this command. Well, in my case, what I'm going to do is use the F10, function 10, because it's not doing anything on my keyboard currently. Anytime you do this kind of stuff, please test out your command, because if you misspelled something, it doesn't function right and it'll give you an error. I'll show you the example here in a minute. I'm going to press the F10 key. It does work. So now I have a shutdown, restart, and logout. These are clickable, okay? But I'm going to hit cancel. This is the same key as this. I have to click that though. And if I go to the Manjaro menu, I have to click that and that. In my previous videos, I may have shown you how to actually create these kind of keys too. If you want to watch those kind of videos, again, subscribe. Look through my videos. Go look in the About section, and more importantly, look through the Community tab. I give tips on how to navigate some of my videos as they grow. All right, now I'm going to talk about the next one. What is Gimp? Well, Gimp is like Photoshop. GNU image manipulation program. I know it's a mouthful. I've been using this for many years. My last YouTube channel had 450 plus videos, and I use that to edit the thumbnails. I also use it to resize images, convert images, and also create icons. Let's move on. So what I'm going to do here is delete this, remove it from my screen, and I'm going to recreate that. This is an application or a program. Hit add, and I'm going to spell it. It's lowercase. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to assign it to F12. I'm done. I'm going to test it. It opens. I have Gimp. I can start work now. Well, maybe later. Anyways, so the next one in line, I'm going to give you an example of misspelling stuff. So I have this thing called calculator, right? And I have two commands for this. Calculator's like calculator. Anyways, if you have a dedicated calculator key on your keyboard, you probably don't need that. It's more likely already assigned. But let's say you don't have a dedicated calculator key. Like my keyboard doesn't have that. My keyboard also doesn't have a shutdown key. That's why I wrote this command right here. That F10. That is, I actually use this, believe it or not. Well, anyways, let's move on. So I don't have a calculator key, so let's create one. So what I'm going to do with this F7 is delete it and create it from scratch. Since it's nice and convenient for me, because I can see it right here, I can use the spelling. So I'm going to hit add, but I'm going to misspell this on purpose. So this will happen occasionally. So you're going along and you didn't notice anything. You think everything's cool, and you hit OK. It doesn't say anything about misspelling currently. And I'm going to use that same key, F7, and I'm going to test it. And I got, whoops, failed to launch, shortcut F7, failed to execute child process. And it actually shows you the spelling. Oh, calculator has two C's in it. No such file or directory. All right, we have two choices. We have edit, which you can fix it. My suggestion, though, is to physically delete it. It'll be faster. Okay, so be careful what you click on also. So I'm going to go back and make sure I clicked on the right thing, because that's misspelled. I want to just remove it. So be careful what you remove also. Before you hit that remove key, make sure you're highlighted on the correct item. It's very important. Good tip. Good tip. All right, I got this thing here. It's misspelled. It doesn't work. I'm going to remove it. Let's do this again, add. So this time we're going to try to spell it correctly. And what did we use again? I think F7 was my key. Let's try it out, and it's done. This also does have a scientific also mode if you're curious. So some of you folks may or may not know anything about this calculator. You can see how easy it is to do this stuff. Now I'm going to give you some food for thought. Some of you folks know exactly what I'm talking about. Something happens to your old hard drive. That spinning hard drive dies, and you have to reinstall your system. And it is awful because maybe you didn't make backups of your personal files. Maybe you didn't have backups of anything. Maybe you're wanting these tips saved somewhere. Maybe you're wanting to, I'm going to throw another one out at you. Maybe you're wanting to try out another Linux distribution that has an Xfce desktop. Wouldn't it be convenient if you can carry some of these settings with you as far as just the text part of it? Well, there's where screenshots come in handy. So we're going to do a screenshot of this box, and I'm going to keep re-emphasizing this. You can also right-click and, of course, do all these things, but I'm just going to open it. And my favorite is active window. I don't care about the wallpaper or any of this stuff. Now, when you take an active window, this is the active window. It never takes a picture of itself. You can lay this right on the top and hit OK. The action is saved, gives you a mini preview. Click Save, and where are you going to send it to? So my user is Mr. Senior, and I'm sending it to my desktop or saving it there. You could save it to other folders. Currently, I'm going to use the exact same name. I could rename that now or later. So what's the importance of these screenshots? Well, first of all, my recommendation is to put these things, not only a copy of it in your home folder somewhere, you can call it screenshot if you like, and then also put these on another device. What is another device? Well, another device could be a hard drive internally or externally, or a USB stick. It's good to have those on possibly an external hard drive or USB stick, because when you're installing either this distribution, again, because your hard drive died, or you're using another Xfce distribution, you can refer back to that screenshot, and that nice gentleman that was giving you the advice for Linux for Seniors told you how to do this command here rather easily, and also gave you some examples of all this. So whether you were reinstalling Manjaro because your hard drive died, or whether you are installing this on another Xfce distribution, these things come in handy. Some food for thought, folks. Hopefully you've subscribed. You folks have a wonderful day.